Hi, you are listening to the Father Support Network podcast. This podcast is for single fathers and fathers in general. On this podcast, we educate, inform, guide, encourage, and help fathers navigate the complex challenges of maintaining contact and healthy relationships with their children after separation or divorce. Your host is Dr. Michael Uwangba. Michael Uwangba is a father of three who successfully fought for the right of his children to have their father in their lives.
Hey, hello, happy weekend. Oh God, happy bank holiday weekend. So bank holidays when we've got a long weekend, like no working tomorrow, like. So it's a good feeling, you know. And I'm also kind of like child free this week. You know, not so bad. Much. I love my kids. I love my kids every time if I can, but sometimes you need a me time, and it's just one of those weekends, a long one where I have the time to myself, you know, do a bit of more focused work. But yeah, I wanted to talk about an important topic: how to balance work, family, and even relationship as a single father. You know, this also applies to single parents in general, maybe single mothers. And you know, last night we were watching a movie. It's like a family movie with me and the kids, and I picked this movie that's called Cats in the Hat. A very interesting movie. And there's this single mom that had two kids, a boy and a girl, and then was dating the neighbor that was apparently using her, and then she had to combine that. She was like an real estate person. She had to combine that with a very difficult boss that was demanding. And you know, looking at that movie, you see how that mom was able to kind of like balance that and the difficulty she had to face. So that got me thinking, you know, about how as a single father you can balance work, family, relationship. Well, listen, I always start off these conversations by saying there is no formula for this. It's not easy. Sometimes people talk and like make it look like it's an easy feat. It's not. It's not an easy feat. First of all, you need to understand that it's quite a challenging one. Well, how do you do it? I think one of the steps in doing it is recognizing the task at hand. You know, having a clear understanding of what is it before you, the task before you, and also just, you know, mapping out a strategy of how to deal with the situation. Not even work without a strategy. You can't just, you know, it's just like when you're going out, you set up your sat nav or your GPS. There's a destination, so it gives you a focus, there's a goal. So understanding the task before you, understanding what you need to do, will help you focus, will help you into the next stage, which is again having an environmental, what we call like an environmental situation analysis, the situation analysis of the situation, and say, depending on how many kids you've got, and looking at what you have to do you have to, you know, basically provide the basic thing for your kids, be it, you know, food, shelter, clothing. These are kind of like the basics, just pulling in. And then the day-to-day, there's the day-to-day tasks that you definitely need to do. And those day-to-day tasks would include providing food for them, cooking. You know, I like to cook healthy meals myself. And I do a lot of cooking. You know, I'm just gonna say this: the ray from the sun. I do a lot of cooking. I believe in healthy eating. It's good to eat healthy. Healthy food is very, very vital. You know, there's no point filling yourself with unhealthy food. So once in a while you can indulge yourself, but you know, first of all, again, I might be lucky. That's why I say there's no formula to this. Where I've got a flexible working kind of pattern of the kind of work I do, where I'm able to plan my life around, you know, whether doing school runs, whether you know, helping them in other extracurricular activities, you know, driving them to the swimming lessons, all that kind of lessons as well, and how you could do that. But then again, we need to watch against being burnt out. I think one of the things that I've noticed, not just with me, one of the things I said, boundaries. You know, I'm a kind of father that I'm close to my kids. We play. We have that kind of like relationship where it's not a traditional parent. Like I'm easy with my kids, but I also set boundaries. They need to go to bed at a certain time. I've come across people that are quite lax when it comes to that, and I don't think it's not fair to them. It's not fair to the kids. It's not healthy. The kids depending on the age needs to have a certain amount of sleep, hours of sleep. If they're not getting it, it's unhealthy. And then again, it's just for good practice, and you need to set a bedtime so they can have your own time to do stuff. Otherwise, you're spending virtually the whole hours of the day attending to the kids. We only have 24 hours in a day, so those 24 hours needs to be accounted for, need to be allocated properly. So I think kids should be able to go to bed. My kids go to bed at a certain time. I put them to bed at a certain time, and I try my possible best to make sure they go to bed at that time every day. So it gives them structure, and they understand our routine. It's a routine. Kids need to have routine. You can't just give them that kind of like free reins to do whatever they want to do. There should be particular for in my household. I make sure we eat dinner. We eat dinner like 6:30 before 7. We've had dinner, you know, in time for the food to digest for the kids to go to bed. And then again, because I said my own kind of work, you know, it's flexible. I can work any time of the day. I can work, you know, once they're in bed, I can work. Because it's difficult to work when they're up, and you know, depending on the kind of house you have. You might have a big house, I don't know. Depending again how rich you are, whether you have a big house and then you have people to look after you, look after the kids, and you could be in a different quarter of the house, and you have your own study room. But then again, another thing is having a good support network. You know, you could build support network around. You know, for some it's easy. Like when you go to school, do school run. Some, you know, as a woman, sometimes mostly it's a woman thing. You see women at a greater percentage that do school runs. You could build relationship, and then you could help form that kind of network of support. You could help each other. You know, when a parent needs to go to do some stuff, one of the parents can look after the kids. When you've built that level of trust. But even as a dad as well, you could form some network. If you have a good family system network where, you know, you could use these systems. Otherwise, it's expensive. When you have kids, you have to get a child minder or babysitter, and then you have to go work. For people that go to work like the conventional 9 to 5, let's say the kids go to school, maybe have to go into work early, and then you get someone to put them in school, and then you get someone to put them in the after school club in time for you to come. Whichever way you look at it, is tough. Even as, you know, traditional home where you have a man and a woman, a husband and a wife, it's still tough if they're both working and they have to go to work. It's still, let alone a single household, and let alone a single father. Not every single father is like myself. That I think I've been raised in a certain way, thanks to my parents, in a way where I'm very, very domesticated, whereby I could do, you know, this household chores without it being like a burden. But still, it's still heavy when you have to, regardless of my own kind of like flexible work system. You know, sometimes I travel a lot for business. I have to travel for conferences, travel for this, and you know. But in my situation, I've got over years, it was never that easy, but over years, I've got kind of like established some kind of agreement relationship with my kids' moms, where they can look after the kids. We co-parent well. So I've seen some people, especially some single moms, that wouldn't let the father of the kids be involved in the kids' life. I don't know. I don't think it's, unless, I've always said this, unless whoever you've had kids with is a danger, it's a established danger, great danger to your child. Then I don't see why. If it takes two to make, they should be able to look after the kids. And then again, in dating as well, you maybe have young kids you want to date. It's difficult because you want to spend time with whoever you're trying to establish some relationship with, and you don't have that time because you see on dating sites sometimes you see when women say my kids come first. Yeah, it's good, but that doesn't. You might look at it, that's good, but again, they're trying to establish if they come first, then you in the words of Kevin Samuels, you might say if that's the case, you then wait. Don't need to indulge yourself in any relationship. Wait till they're grown, and then you can. But no, life, you deserve your own happiness as well. You deserve your own relationship. So it is a case where if you're the person you've made a child with, I'm just saying this in a simplistic way. It's not that simple, but if you can, try and have a relationship where some weekends they go to them, sometimes so you can have a me time so you're not burnt out. It's very, very important. There's no need for you to, if your relationship are broken up, there's no need for you to be bitter. There's no need for you to, you're one denying your kids rights to the other parents. Number one. Number two, you're just taking up all the whole burden. You're doing 100% without, no, you don't have to. Let them take, I've heard where people say, okay, just pay child maintenance. Forget child maintenance. That is also care. That is maintaining the child, taking care of the child whilst you can have time to do all the things you want to do. You don't want to spend whole life, taking care of the kids. You want your own time, want your me time. So I think, those are some of that. Then again, you need to take enough. You need to know your system. Like I know my system. I know when it is for me to take a break. And that's where setting boundaries come. I know where I set boundaries, and then you need to recover when you've put so much into raising, you put so much into working and taking care of kids. It's very tasking and demanding. So you need time to recuperate. So to balance this, there's a lot of discipline. You have to be disciplined. Discipline is very, very important. Have a set time to sleep. Have a go and develop a good network system, including the have a relationship with your ex, whereby the kids can spend time with them, so you can have time for yourself. And then also setting boundaries and just knowing how your system works, and make sure you're taking enough rest, and so that you're not burnt out. Because if you're not burnt out, it doesn't help you. It doesn't help the kids. It doesn't help anybody. So having said that, it is so difficult. It's better for two people to be together. But like I said, even in two household families, is this day and age, where even two incomes are even hard to, it's still difficult, let alone one income household. So I pray for healing of the family. Regardless of what people might think about me, I believe in a family structure, and I believe that we need to have a hands-on care on our kids, and that's who I am. Hands-on care on the kids, to make sure we're there, we're spending time with them. Like I said, movie time, going out, spending time at the park. These things are good to build confidence. It's not just money. So let's just look beyond finances and look at how we do all of this. It's the modern system. The modern system is a system where, unfortunately, there's too much work and too much all of that, and then people are not having time to spend fun. But anyways, this is just what I wanted to say today, and I wish you a happy weekend, and for those in the UK, happy bank holiday. See you soon.